Recently, I did an Ignite talk here in Austin, Texas. Ignite talks, also known as lightning talks, these are where the speaker has 5 minutes and 20 slides to share something interesting with the audience. What makes it interesting for the speaker is the slides advance automatically after 15 seconds. The talk that I gave was one that was quite personal and one that not a lot of folks might have expected me to talk about. It was titled Fluent Talk on Stuttering. And I'm sure at some point in these next couple weeks or months, a video of that talk will be posted, but I thought I might give you a sample of the talk because I think it's important for a lot of folks to hear because again, it's something personal as well as something I think is important for people to hear. So this is a reenactment, if you will, of my October 20th Ignite talk in Austin, Texas. I am a 1%er. I am part of the 1% of the world's adult population who stutters. Now, I'm not stuttering right now, and that's because I've learned through experience how to mask my stuttering. As a child, however, though, I couldn't mask it. Stuttering happened every time I opened my mouth. Especially happened when I tried to answer the telephone. I would block every time I would say hello. So instead of saying hello, I would say yellow as a kid. These days, I stumble over other words, such as those two words you see up on the screen. Unfortunately, those two words you see on the screen, it's the name of an absolutely exquisite beer. And a few weeks ago, I was at a bar. I walked up to the bar and I saw it was on tap, so I went to the bartender and said, "I'll have a pint of the Allagash Odyssey." That was painful. But you see, for stutterers, vowel sounds, especially at the beginning of a sentence, are very difficult to say. So stutterers, they can stutter a variety of ways. They can stutter by either having a hard block, or they could potentially sound out a word that's elongated, or they could repeat a syllable or a word over and over and over again. Doctors, they really have no definitive answer for why people stutter. They do know that it is a combination of genetics. It also has something to do with the environment in which you grew up in and the environment in which you live in today, as well as something happens neurologically in your brain. There is no cure for an adult stutterer. There is no solution for an adult stutterer to speak fluently. Instead, there are just lots of workaround ways to minimize one's stutter. And I use different methods, different workaround methods to reduce my stuttering. One way is word swapping. This is as it sounds. I'm going to swap out a word, many of those words that begin with the vowel sound, swap those out and replace them with a different word that I know is going to be easier to say. Speech pathologists tell you that stutterers shouldn't get in the habit of doing this. But I've had to get in the habit of doing it because if I didn't, I would be stuttering all over the place. Actually, when I talk nowadays, it's kind of like a game. It's like a mental game of Scrabble. Instead of tiles that I'm working with words in my head. And I'm moving them all around, thinking 2 words ahead so that I can be able to come out and say something fluently. And because I'm thinking 2 words ahead, there's usually a slight delay between what I'm thinking and what I'm saying. Because while I'm thinking, I have to again plot out 2 words ahead. Once I do that, it takes time, then I can say it more fluently. Something else I do is I talk louder. I am a loud talker. I learned years ago that when you raise your voice up slightly, your stutter diminishes. This has something to do with the choral effect, which the choral effect basically has, if you can hear yourself in your ear, hear an echo of what you're saying in your ear, for some reason your stutter is minimized. That's why when stutterers speak in unison with others, we're hearing it, and thus our stutter is reduced dramatically. Now, you, being the audience, you're in a difficult position because you have to have the patience to sit back and understand what we're saying. Here are some tips on how to deal with someone who stutters. The first tip, please keep your eye contact with me. I can't tell you how disheartening it is to see people look away, pretending that they're not seeing or hearing what they're actually seeing. So please keep your eye contact. And never finish my sentences. That is rude. If you choose to finish my sentences for me, I'm going to probably shock you with how I actually finish the sentence. And whatever you do, please do not laugh at a stutterer. It felt bad as a kid to have people laugh at me, and it feels worse as a 40-year-old having people laugh out loud at you when you stutter. Now, there is something you can do for me as a stutterer, and that is next time you see me at the Draft House here in Austin, Texas, and you know that special beer that I so love is on tap, you can go up to the bar, bring me along, tell the bartender, "Yo, barkeep, I want to buy my friend a beer. I want to buy him a pint of the Allagash Odyssey." Thank you all very much. Now you know a little bit more of Fluent Talk on stuttering.